welcome to another round of Leading from the Future. I am your host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony Shannon, a prophet you can trust. And we want to thank you again for supporting us here at Leading from the Future. You know, I always tell you that we always are here for one reason and one reason only, because it's a unique space of inspiration that seamlessly blends with revelation to empower you on your journey. Right here, you know how we do it. We don't just keep you informed, but we transform your perspective. And we want you to dive into these riveting stories of individuals who have triumphed over adversity. Learn from those who've persevered against all odds. And then I want you to absorb the invaluable lessons they will share with you using their voice so that they can ignite your voice to come out and change. You know, our show isn't just about stories, though. You know that. It's a call to action because we believe everyone has a purpose, a unique calling that I guess makes you indispensable to the world. So as you continue to follow us, as you continue to look at all of the different our guests that we have, we want you to uncover your own hidden potentials, inspire you to embrace your destiny. We want you to die empty. Please don't die full. Empty everything out, add value across the world. And that's why we thank you for tuning in to Leading from the Future. It's more than a show. I believe it's a movement towards helping you get to your purpose-driven life. You know, I always tell you that life is about purpose. And we believe that if you don't know your purpose, find your purpose. That once you find your purpose, then you can live your life and then you can leave a legacy. Because life without purpose is like living life not at all. And you know, we always find some of the most interesting guests. We always try to get them to line up with what we're doing and what we're about. And I did not shortchange you on this one. No, I did not. That's right. The one we're bringing to you is a former United States Army officer turned corporate executive. He spent more than 2 decades leading high-performing teams in global organizations. Yes, indeed. He is the founder and owner of Peak Performance Leadership Institute. His career began as an armor officer in the United States Army. You better salute my brother. Before he transitioned into what I call the distinguished corporate career. It spanned more than 3 decades. That's right. You better write it down. After leaving the military, you know what he did? He joined Abbott Laboratories, where he dedicated 27 years to various executive roles in sales and marketing. During his time at Abbott, Cedric and his team consistently earned accolades for high performance, commercial excellence. His success at Abbott led to his executive recruitment at Career Global, where he was appointed global director and established and led companies' new commercial revenue operations under his leadership. The organization achieved double-digit revenue growth, boasting annual revenues from $615 million to $1.2 billion with a B in just 3 years. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Listen, let me tell you something. Drawing from that, Cedric equips leaders to think clearly under pressure, build winning cultures, and deliver measurable results in business and in life. He now leads Peak Performance Leadership Institute, where he delivers workshops, seminars, keynote speeches, and coachings designed to help individuals and organizations reach their goal. Y'all know he is certified by John Maxwell, and he holds a BA in political science from Howard University and an MBA in international marketing from the University of Memphis. Cedric is deeply committed to his community, y'all. Yes, he is. He's the director of education and vice president of the 1906 Alpha Foundation of Alpha Phi Alpha. He's a nice cold brother. Yes, he is. And as co-chair of the business and education committee for the Charles County Chamber of Commerce. Would y'all please welcome this humble, this wonderful, this powerful, authentic, ice cold brother who is a business extraordinaire to our stage, leading from the future, Mr. Cedric M. Singleton himself, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for my brother.
All right. How's it going, Dr. Pastor? How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing wonderful now that you're here. Finally got you here, got his book, amen, upstairs. And we was showing that to some young people the other day, what they can do. Yes, we did. And now we have Cedric himself right here. This is a good brother, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to follow him and do everything you can. Well, Cedric, we always open up the show just like this. We want you to, number one, tell people where you were born. Who is your mother? Who is your father? And what high school did you go to? And who is Cedric outside of all this singing, keynote and all the other stuff you do?
First of all, when you gave all those accolades, I had to look behind me and see who you was talking about. It's like, who is that? But I appreciate this opportunity, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, Pastor Dr. Shannon. I deeply, deeply do. And because you're asking about mama and daddy and the high school, this must be a Detroit interview.
Detroit 313.
313. But I started, in Charleston, South Carolina. My mom, Sheila Singleton, Sheila Davis maiden name, and then Harold Singleton are my parents. Okay. And my grounding really comes from Charleston, my extended family. That is the root of, I think, my character. And as it relates to high school, I graduated from the whole family actually graduated from a high school called Burke High School in Charleston, South Carolina. And that was the beginning of the Cedric Singleton journey.
I love it. South Kakalaki.
And you even said it right. That's right.
Man, I'm excited about it. You've had a heck of a journey, heck of a career, and now you've reimagined even a whole new one as we go across the country. But take us back to the beginning. What first inspired you, I guess I want to say, to serve and offer up your life, to the United States Army?
My first hero in my life, I love my dad. I love my uncles and all that. But my cousin Keith. Okay. My cousin Keith is 4 years older than me. And, he was young enough to be reachable. But to me, he was just a hero because of everything that he did. He did at a high caliber and a high quality. And I wanted to be so much like him. And he joined the Marine Corps. And when he joined the Marine Corps, I knew I wanted to do military service. I joined the Army, but he had a tremendous impact on what I believe I wanted to do in my life and kind of the man I wanted to be. Just watching his character and watching everything he did to me at a high level, and it had a tremendous impact on me.
Wow, man, I would have never. See, that's why you tune in to Leading from the Future, because I know y'all didn't know that. Okay, all you other podcasts, I know y'all didn't know that about this brother. Okay, that's what happened. So tell us this then: how did your time in the military, United States Army, shape the way you think about leadership today?
That's a great question. I think the Army, especially at that stage of my life, aligned with sort of my character, like just hand in glove. I like the discipline. I like the structure. Although I like strategy, I think I'm a process oriented guy. I like the step by step, element of starting here and ending here, and the steps in between. And that, you're a Marine guy, so that's military all the way. Just the process element of it, and being able to lead. I was in junior ROTC in high school, and then ROTC at Howard University, and all of those different sort of roles of leadership, and then culminating in the actual Army as an officer. I think aligned with just kind of how I was just as a person and as a professional. It had all the tools in the toolkit that I needed to further develop, certain skills.
Well, one of the things I know is that you're cool, calm, and you stay collective even under pressure. But many leaders struggle under pressure. What did the Army teach you about making decisions when the stakes are high?
Man, you are knocking them out with these questions. It's just, I think I brought to my business now what I call the 3 Ps. And the final P is professionalism. But I think what gets you to being a professional, and I can translate to that being cool and calm and being able to maybe execute, are these 2 Ps. And that is, you got to be prepared, and then you have to practice. And, in the military, just like in sports, actually, and probably anything that you do at a high level, a lot of times people don't see, the preparation. They don't see the practice. And they're 2 distinctive things. The preparation means that, you got to have all the different elements to be successful all lined up. You got to know what you need to do. But then the practice is, then you do it over and over and over again. So when it's game time, then you can be that cool, that calm, that collected, and you can show up in a way, especially as a leader, that's going to make everybody feel comfortable that we can get through whatever the obstacle happens to be.
Wow, that's powerful. And, somebody is watching, and you have those 3 Ps. Did I miss one? I put in there prepared and practice.
Yeah, so it's a formula that I use. I call it preparation plus practice equals professionalism.
Equals professionalism. Okay, I knew I said I missed something here. All right, I got you. What is a leadership lesson that you've learned in the Army, which teaches you about the battlefield and strategic of winning in war, in case you do go, that business leaders need to understand the parallel between battlefield and business leadership?
Yeah, I think what I've learned in my journey, whether it was the military, the corporate world, or now in the entrepreneur space, is you have to have the ability to clearly communicate, right? If you are not able to clearly get your point across, especially if you need people to take action. So in the military, oftentimes, you're given, they call it orders, right? But you're giving communication, or you're giving instruction via communication. And if it's not clear, you're in trouble, right? And so I take that now, when I was in the corporate world and now in my business. Denzel Washington in the movie Philadelphia years ago, he was an attorney. And whenever he got an expert witness on the stand, because these expert witnesses, they could be a scientist. I mean, they can lose you, right?
Yes, sir.
Denzel would just basically say it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Right. If a 5-year-old can understand it, everybody in that room could understand it, right? Wow. Communication doesn't have to be cute, right? It just has to connect. And if it connects, then you're on point. And that is the one thing that I learned in the military that has translated when I was in the corporate world and now in the entrepreneur space.
Wow, communication doesn't have to be cute. It has to connect. Teach it to me like a 5-year-old. Keep it simple, they say, right? KISS.
That's right.
That method of KISS. I love that. Well, listen, everybody, if you're just tuning in to Leading from the Future, I'm your host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony Shannon, a prophet you can trust. We're here with our special guest, Cedric Singleton. You've been hearing about him. Boy, we just getting started, okay? You don't know he got more to talk about, okay? But I want you to see Cedric in action, okay? He's been on the Leadership Experience Tour, the Flux. But I want you to see him as he's speaking right now. Check him out in his professional state. We'll be right back.
The keys to achieving your dreams by mastering your mindset are as follows. Number one, clearly determine your destination. Next, build a well-defined plan to get there. And then finally, execute that plan. So let's talk about how I executed the plan. I took my sales training very serious. And as a result, I was one of the top graduates in my class. I ran my sales territory like I ran my tank platoon. My account plans, my weekly activity reports, my customer visits, I was all in. And I became the subject matter expert for our hematology product line. And I was appointed team lead for that product. As for performance, my sales territory was ranked number 118 out of 126. It was near the bottom. Within 18 months, it was ranked number 12. It was near the top.
Here at the Victory Church, we are a teaching church, and who better to learn from than our very own Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. He's written a book entitled Live Generously. That's right, if you are ready to embrace biblical principles about money and to learn about God's financial management and even about the joys of trusting God through giving, it's time for you to live generously. Get this book today. Purchase it for $20 here at the church, or you can purchase it in ebook form on our website for $14.99. That's right. Go ahead and visit our website, thevictorychurchint.org. You want to get this book if you are ready to go to another level and embrace God's biblical principles about money. Are you unshakable? We know you can't stop the storms of life, but you can discover how to be unshakable. If you're ready to learn how to overcome family challenges, illness, financial stress, and more, you need this book, Unshakable, written by Nelson Searcy. And the foreword was written by our very own Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Get this book, Unshakable, today for only $20 at the church. And you can also email us at tvci.executiveoffice@gmail.com. Get Unshakable today. It is God's desire that you overcome obstacles, even in less than optimum circumstances. Get these books today to live your best life. And here at the Victory Church, as we say, success is the only option. Hello, and thank you for tuning into Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, we hope that you're enjoying the show, and we want to let you know that we are grateful for you. From captivating stories to insightful discussions, we value your presence in our community. Now, if you're finding value and joy in what we bring to your screen, we'd like to invite you to consider taking your support a step further. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. We have 3 simple ways for you to give, making it quick and easy for you to send your contributions. The first is Cash App. That's right, $ Anthony D. Shannon. You can send your contribution directly to our amazing host. The second way is to download the V-Church app. go ahead and download on the Google Play or your App Store and follow the prompts there. The third is Cash App, $ the Victory Church INT. Again, we thank you for your contributions and your support of Leading from the Future with our amazing host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, thank you for being an essential part of our journey. Your generosity truly fuels our passion. Now let's get back to the show because more exciting moments await us. Thank you for your continued support.
All right, we're back. Listen, did you see Cedric M. Singleton? Oh, he cool. He's smooth. He articulate that stuff and got everybody giving him ovations, okay? While he helped transform their business acumen. Yes, indeed. And we're going to tell you how to get in touch with Cedric a little bit later, but just check this out. Now, Cedric, before we left, we were talking about all of the military and different things and how you got in there. And now, after leaving the military, you entered the corporate America, corporate space. What was the biggest adjustment, do you think, moving from military culture into the business culture?
My biggest adjustment in that transition was up until I left the military, it was all about the team. And I had to realize that the team because I was in corporate sales, I had to reimagine, if you will, what the team looked like, because oftentimes you were out in your own isolated sales territories and you had your own sales numbers, et cetera. And then you were a part of a team, but it didn't quite feel the same way when you're next to I was a tank platoon leader, a scout platoon leader, and you're with your group all the time. So, the back and forth, and you get those little inside jokes and all that kind of stuff in the military that is just a part of your day. And then when I transitioned to the corporate world in sales, at least initially until I got, some teams of my own, that was quite a pivot that I had to kind of get used to and kind of reimagine how all those skills around team building and helping the team and being a part of a team, I had to translate. And that was a little bit of a journey, a little bit of a transition.
Okay. Now you spent many years, it seemed here, at Abbott Laboratories. And so what leadership principles helped you to succeed in such a large organization?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I learned with Abbott, especially as I mentioned, my background was sales, is I think there's two things. You want to make sure that, especially in a leadership position, that you provide all the right tools and resources and training, et cetera, for your team to be successful. And then the art of empowerment. So empowering your team and truly letting them kind of flourish was something that, throughout my time at Abbott, I was able to, I think, kind of master at some point. It took a while, but really understanding what individuals, needed to become their best selves and let that thing happen. And really getting excited when you see them hit that next level and that next level and that next level and kind of get out their way as they're starting to shine. Those things, I would say, if you're a leader and you have the right team, you really have to give them the room so that they can, almost like in sports, you call them the coaching trees, right? Yeah. Those great coaches, they end up having a whole bunch of coaches in the NBA or the NFL because, they give those guys the tools as assistant coaches. Yes. And then they become, kind of big dogs on their own if you give them the room to then optimize their abilities.
Yeah. I often hear you teach about mindset. And why do you believe then mindset is the foundation of performance?
Yeah, because I think that with mindset, there's a few elements that goes along with mindset. One of those elements is like ownership. You yourself have to believe, right? You have to own the belief that you can do whatever that thing is. If you want to be an author, if you want to be a speaker, whatever you want to be, you have to internalize that. And that's step one, the mindset of ownership. But then you have to, as they say, you got to go after it, right? And it takes a certain mindset that requires a little bit of resilience. It requires a little bit of when things get tough, then I like to say when things get tough, you're on the right track, right? So all of that requires a certain mindset to actually feel comfortable at some point that, this isn't going to be easy, but I know the journey I'm pursuing. Right. And what oftentimes can separate those people that keep going on that journey and the people that may stop a little bit, they say, if you're like a boxer and you get that little Charlie horse and that kind of stuff. If you don't have the right mindset, then that's when you kind of stop. But if you do have the right mindset, then you can go through the parts that you can expect is going to happen if your journey is worthwhile. You're going to have those challenges. And I believe that mindset is so critical because if you internalize and own, whatever that task is, whatever that thing you want to become is, you take ownership of it, then you can you can get past those things that will be the challenges along that journey.
So you talk about this taking ownership in the mindset process. So what then is the biggest mental barrier that stops leaders from reaching their potential?
Ooh, it just got real, didn't it? So
you, brother.
Yeah, it just got real. So there's some I would call it internal realistic barriers. And then there's some external barriers. The internal barriers are the things that you really have to almost do an inventory of. It may be financial, it may be you got responsibilities and things along those lines. You can overcome them, but you have to realistically identify them, right?
Oh, wow.
As an example,
they got to face them. Is that what you're saying?
You got to face them. You have to face them, and you got to be realistic as to what they are. For example. Let's just say you want to become a doctor, right? And to become a doctor, you need to do these things, right? So the realistic part of understanding what those barriers might be is, well, how much is it going to cost? That's a real thing that you're going to have to figure out. Another thing might be maybe I have a couple kids. I mean, that's life. But all those things, they're not insurmountable. But you have to really, really at least itemize what they are and then plan. So that's the internal part. External part, and this is when I said it just got real, is there just going to be certain people that will be obstacles.
Wow.
And you're going to have to really identify, is this person an obstacle or not? And that's the tough part.
That's good.
That obstacle could be your cousin. Right? So
that's real.
That's real. So you really do have to make an assessment of whatever it is you want to do. And then the other obstacle is ability. So if it really, like, I'll use myself as an example.
Yes, sir.
I am I'm 5 feet 6 inches tall. I'm a short dude. I am almost 60 years old. It would not be a realistic goal for me to think I'm gonna make it in the NBA. Right? So you just got, when I'm talking about real,
yes,
you have real. You just got to take these inventory of your internal, the realistic situation, and the barriers that you have to make a decision on. Is this a barrier that can help me if I can figure it out? Or is this a barrier that, I might need to go ahead and leave behind? All those things, to your point of, as far as barriers, all those things are things that you have to assess as a part of, and that's why mindset is so, when you master it, it's a beautiful thing.
I see.
right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Because what comes with mindset is being able to be resilient, right? And really take inventory. I mean, some people do those DISC assessments, those personality assessments, and a part of that is really self-aware and all those types of things. Those things are important because once you, at a minimum, get stock of who you are and where you are, and then you make the decision that my mindset is telling me that I am going after it. I'm going to go after it. Well, now you're in a position to do what I call that second thing, and that is you can make a well-defined plan. That first one is determining your destination. But when you do all those things that I just talked about, and you're still all in because of the right mindset, then you can create and develop a well-defined plan. That's a winnable plan because you've considered all the things you need to consider to be successful.
Wow. Let me see if I can get this one in then, because it's, I know, and that every leader faces failure or something that, even obstacles, as you just said. Can you share a moment when something did not work and what you learned from it?
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to 12-year-old Cedric. So when Cedric was 12, Ced's mom and dad got a divorce. And we left Charleston, Chucktown, if you're nasty. No, I'm just playing. Right. And my mom, she joined the Army. So she was, we got stationed at Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. and moved. So we moved to what's now called the DMV area out in Maryland. Yeah. And in Charleston, I had a lot of friends, a lot of family, did well in school and everything like that. When we moved to Maryland, I went into Maryland with what's called a Geechee Gullah accent. There's that Charleston accent, right? Okay. So I go to Maryland with that accent, and we lived in a place called Silver Springs, Maryland, which is, working class area, not, a lot of different, sort of nationalities, et cetera. No big deal. Then I got bused to a place called Bethesda, Maryland. Much more affluent, big money place. I go to school, and I mean, the kids were making fun of me mercilessly. Wow. And for the first time in my life, my confidence was gone. Didn't want to talk. Wow. I didn't want them making fun of my accent. And then on top of that, Pastor Shannon, I wasn't getting the schoolwork. Oh, wow. So I was in my mind, I was failing. I didn't like the school. I didn't like the kids. I didn't want to talk, and I couldn't get the grades. I go and I tell my mom, I said, I want to go back to Charleston. I don't like it here. And my mom, to answer your question, what did I do to overcome it? Yeah. My mom looked at me and she said, Cedric, I love you. I know it's a little tough, but I have never known you to be a quitter. Mama! Straight no chaser. I'm telling you, mama. So my mom and I felt two things at the same time. Yeah. I felt she loved me for sure, but I felt her challenging me to meet that difficult moment head on. Wow. And it was at that moment that I'm like, you know what? I spent hours studying to get the grades. Even though I had that accent, I would raise my hand in class and so on and so forth. Took a little while to get caught up, but I got caught up in school. I was back on track with school and everything like that. And it was at that moment where my mom made me basically deal with that tough moment that every other time, whether it was the military, the corporate world, every time I have challenges, I think about that. Yeah. I think in terms of, this is yet another challenge. I have to face it and meet it head on, and then those 3 P's come into place.
Mm-hmm.
For me, what I learned at 12 years old was, as long as I am prepared and I practice, I can get it done. And that's my 3 P's. I mean, if I, no matter what it happens to be, if I know, what I need to do to prepare, and I get all the material that I need to prepare, and I practice that thing over and over and over again, then I'm good. And so every tough moment, even if I have a difficult boss or whatever the case is, I'm always going to show up ready for prime time.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That boy is dropping 24 karat gold bars indeed. Did you hear him lay that down? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take a break, and we're going to come right back and hear some more of my main man, Cedric M. Singleton. He's dropping 24 karat gold bars and wisdom for you for the ages to come. That's for sure. Listen, I want to encourage you, if you have not got my latest book, amen, the process of change is now. We are in the 4th industrial revolution. AI, robots, right? Technology, it's on steroids. Many people still don't know how to handle it, don't know what to do with it. And you listen, I'm telling you right now, either you're going to be at the table, right, ordering, or you're going to be on the menu getting ate up. I don't want you to be ate up. I want you to get ahead of the game, because life is about changing. I say it all the time. Life is about you changing. To live is to grow, and to grow is to change. So stop resisting change, right? And start leading it, all right? Get ahead of it. And this book is going to help you do just that. I promise you. There is case studies. Like who? Remember, maybe some of you don't, but I bet you some do. 35 and over understand this. There was a company called Blockbuster. They had 90% of the marketplace. All right. But then there's this little company called Netflix. They had little CDs, they were sending it to people, and Blockbuster had an opportunity to buy Netflix and their technology. And Blockbuster said, we ain't going to buy that. We're done. We got 90% of the marketplace. We're not going to do it. They didn't understand what was evolving, what was changing. Well, guess what? Blockbuster is out of here. Netflix is now the #1 platform where making movies and guess what? On-demand services. It's unbelievable. Why? They knew when to move, and the process of change was now. Go on and get that book and get it today. All right. Then we have my other book. It's called Sacred Success. These are my 2 latest books that we just dropped in November and December, and I want you to get these, all right? This is Sacred Success. What I found out and uncovered by working and studying with some of the rabbis is that God has a word, or a mystery is what they call it, called tzedakah. It is unlocking God-given prosperity. Many people chase prosperity, chase fame, chase this, but God has a moment for you that he calls unlock your purpose. And when you unlock your purpose, it just seems like prosperity, money, and doors just begin to open up for you. So look, we want you to get this book, because we're going to show you the prophetic insight, the transformative stories, and practical biblical strategies that'll help you uncover what your purpose is. And I promise you, when you find it, you're going to be amazed. So go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, thevictorychurchint.org. You can go on Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble, get the book and get it today. And why don't you buy one for all your family, all right? So they too can be with you at the top. All right, thank you so much. What if your story of faith could inspire generations? What if your testimony of resilience could ignite hope in others? Well, introducing The Faith Factor. It's a legacy project led by visionary Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon. It's a moment where faith meets action, and your voice really, really matters. We're calling authors, speakers, and those with a story of unshakable faith to join. It's a writing project that's going to be a legacy. Your story could be the breakthrough someone needs. Your words could change lives. Your faith could leave a lasting legacy for generations to come if you've overcome trials, experienced God's hand in your life, or have a testimony, not a testimony, that can transform others, this is your moment to shine. Why don't you apply today? Become a co-author, share your story of faith, and inspire generations to come. Don't just believe, take action. Your faith-filled words could be the key to someone else's breakthrough in this book. Because faith isn't just a belief, it's the key to transformation. Apply now at thefaithfactorbook.com. Say it again, thefaithfactorbook.com. I want to interview you right now.
Hello, my name is Cedric Singleton, and you are watching Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Anthony Shannon. And since this is the Big D, I have been allowed to say, what up, though?
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, we hope that you're enjoying the show, and we want to let you know that we are grateful for you. From captivating stories to insightful discussions, we value your presence in our community. Now, if you're finding value and joy in what we bring to your screen, we'd like to invite you to consider taking your support a step further. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. We have 3 simple ways for you to give, making it quick and easy for you to send your contributions. The first is Cash App. That's right, $Anthony D. Shannon. You can send your contribution directly to our amazing host. The second way is to download the V-Church app. Go ahead and download on the Google Play or your App Store and follow the prompts there. The third is Cash App, $the Victory Church INT. Again, we thank you for your contributions and your support of Leading from the Future with our amazing host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, thank you for being an essential part of our journey. Your generosity truly fuels our passion. Now let's get back to the show because more exciting moments await us. Thank you for your continued support.
Well, all right, we're back with Leading from the Future. You're just tuning in. You're tuning in to that. We have our special guest, Cedric M. Singleton. I'm Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony Shannon, a prophet you can trust. And look, we were talking to Cedric. He was dropping down all of how he overcame failure, how he got to resilience. But now we want to dive into what he has created. And that is, what does peak performance, my brother, leadership mean in practical terms?
Yeah, I mean, just to put it as I heard somebody say, and I actually like it, put it where the goats could get it. Put it right on the floor, right? Basically, so my area of expertise, if you will, is I help commercial sales organizations kind of optimize the ability to make money. That's the shorthand. So peak performance is I help organizations and individuals, primarily sales, but others as well, achieve peak performance by operationalizing their systems. So I can help the sales teams versus trying to do things ad hoc. They can do it streamlined. And then when they do it streamlined, every boat rises. And in these cases, these corporations, my customers, can achieve peak performance from a revenue perspective.
Wow. I like that. So when a team is underperforming, right, then where should a leader begin to fix the problem?
Yes, great question again. So I always start with when I work with my clients, I start with the leadership team. I want to, and I also start with communication and also the operations of the situation. If the communication and the leadership is, let's just say, there's an opportunity to optimize the leadership. That's where I want to focus. right? In some of the cases, it's accountability versus responsibility.
Okay.
And leaders may not hold themselves or others accountable. And in that case, no one really knows kind of who's on first and that kind of thing. So understanding all that's one core part of it. But then over top of all of that goes back to communication. So John Maxwell, I know that you're John Maxwell certified.
Absolutely.
John Maxwell has a book, Many Communicate, Few Connect.
That's correct.
And I found that to be, going back to the military and even the corporate world and with my business, it's if I can get the communication kind of under control with my clients, everything else flows. Everything else flows. I mean, because all the other things are their skill sets, right? I can teach them the sales methodologies. You have spin selling, you have consultative selling, you have all those types of things. But if your communication in your organization breaks down, nothing else matters. So for me, what I have found with my clients is when I get a good understanding of how they communicate, like what's their, like, for example, if it's email, if it's chat, if it's in person, and then how effective is it? All those things to me becomes the foundation to do everything else, right? And so, to answer your question, I start with the leadership, right? And I want to understand if the leadership is comfortable, as it relates to holding people accountable and responsible. So I start there, and then I want to know, how does this organization communicate? And then once I get a good understanding of those elements, I can then get into kind of my proposed coaching programs within those organizations. Because if those two things aren't in place, then the outcomes that I promised them will be at risk. Right? I want to make sure that my outcomes happen, and I don't want them to really believe that the training itself and all those skill sets that I'm training, that it's not effective. It won't be that the training's not effective. I'm pretty confident that I can do that effectively. But if their leadership system and their operational system isn't effective, then the training won't matter.
I like that, because you talk about accountability and responsibility amongst leaders. Why does leaders that is not performing at peak, you can always point it back to somebody's not holding somebody's accountable and somebody's not responsible?
Yeah, and you can tell easily when you start to pull just a couple of strings, like a couple of strings on, when this doesn't happen, who's in charge of fixing it? As one example, right? That's just right. And then if there are different answers in that organization, I now know there's an accountability issue.
Okay.
Right. And that who's on first thing.
All right. I got you.
And then the other thing is, if I ask, and these are just real simple things to do, but if I ask, several different people the same question, and it should be as like simple answers to that question, but I get different answers from leaders, then I kind of know that there's a communication challenge in that organization. Because, like, for example, if I ask them, what are your top priorities as it relates to your sales initiatives this year? Yeah. Again, that's just a generic question. But if I get several different answers on that, then there's a communication problem.
Got it.
Right. And so to answer your question, the way you can kind of start to figure out, the leadership opportunities is just by understanding, kind of from a leadership hierarchy perspective, who's responsible for what, just by asking them what I do what I call discovery question or discovery sessions. During those discovery sessions, I can tease those things out. And then here's what I do, Pastor Shannon. I then do what I call a kind of like a findings session. All the leaders, we have a discussion, and I'll let them know, I appreciate your time for letting me understand your your organization. Based on my discovery sessions, I believe that you have this particular area from the leadership perspective that we should focus on. And every single time, Pastor Shannon, that I do that, at first it's an acknowledgement. They will acknowledge that, yeah, they could do better in that area. And then it goes to planning. How do we fix that?
Wow. Excuse me. I love everything and how you're laying it all down. And one of the things that I love is that you are helping others understand the power of mentorship. So what role does mentorship play in developing generational leaders?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to answer that in two spaces. One is in the corporate space, and the other one is I do a lot of work with young people, young, specifically young boys, middle and high school boys, and I think when it comes to mentorship, it is probably one of the most important things that a leader can do to both an organization, or if you're in the community, that you can do within your community. Because what you're helping to do is to develop the next generation, or in the corporate world, the next set of leaders, right? And so you should do that with intention, right? You should clearly not just say, those attaboys or those drive-bys. Yeah. But you should literally have a mentor. Like if you are going to mentor someone, right, it should be a little formal. And whoever you're mentoring, they should have some responsibilities as well. And they should be accountable for doing things as well, right? In other words, you should give your mentee or your protege assignments, right, that can help them grow. Give them, an opportunity to stretch their capabilities that you might see. You might see an individual that has the potential to be very, very good, but they just are not good communicators. They don't show up in spaces because they get a little bit maybe shy. Well, that's your opportunity to help them. You might give them, a little activity where they just say something little, nothing big. The spotlight's not totally on them.
Yes.
But you slowly get them comfortable, and you're right there with them, just as an example. But, to kind of summarize, I think that mentorship, for a leader is probably one of the most important responsibilities that you have. And then how you mentor, in my opinion, should be intentional and formal.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. Time has just went so fast, and I'm just it's like, man, there's so much more to uncover and reveal about Cedric M. Singleton. And we didn't even get to the speaking on stages and traveling to all here, the Philippines and all that other stuff. But nonetheless, you're going to have to come back. But tell people how to get in touch with you, right? Your social media, peak performance, how can they get your book, all of that. Tell people.
So first, Dr. Pastor, I want to thank you for inviting me on your platform. You do amazing work. So I would be remiss if I didn't, and my family from Charleston would smack me on my head with no home training if I didn't thank you for welcoming me into your home. So thank you for that. So you can get in touch with me my website is thepeakleadership.com, and you can connect with me that way. On all of the socials, I am at Cedric Singleton 1906. And so you can contact me that way. And as it relates to my books or programs, etc., from my website, we can have a discovery call and see how I might be able to serve you.
Wow, man. Time has went by. I got one last thing I want you to leave, and that is, if you could leave leaders with one principle to live by every day, what would it be?
Character matters. I mean, I think that right now, you hear people wanting to get the bag, you hear people wanting to do a whole lot of things, and all that's fine. But as it relates to a leader, I think character absolutely matters. And if you can walk into a space, with character, with morals, and those sorts of things, with your ethical foundation, as a leader, I think that's probably one of the most important things that you can bring into any situation. Without character, your leadership capabilities, in my opinion, they just don't matter.
Wow. Man, that is so good. Well, listen, everybody, if you have tuned in, I hope you enjoyed this. I told you I won't disappoint. And I know for a fact that Cedric M. Singleton is going to have to come back for round 2. That's for sure. And we thank you. Thank you, my brother, for being here. That ice cold brother. He is mentoring young middle school, high schoolers to help them not be behind. But guess what? Give them some speed. Thank you for it, brother. Much respect, much love from us to you, brother. Thank you for being here. Now, listen, everybody, we always want to give you an opportunity to sow into this program. We always ask people, amen, to support it, right? Because we put it out there on Word Network, Impact Network, On Stage TV, Apple, Roku, all of those as well. But I mean, real networks, right? Word Network's a real network. Impact, real network. TCT.TV, real networks. On Stage Plus. So listen, we always ask people, sow a seed into this program. You can do it real quickly at $ the Victory Church INT. Or, sometimes people might want to be generous to me. Hey, give me some encouragement and sow into me personally. I'll take it and bless it. That's $ Anthony D. Shannon. We also have a V app. You can go to your Apple Store, your Play Store, download the Victory Church, all right, who supports this program. And guess what? If you give over $250, guess what? Your seed will be tax deductible. Wow, that's pretty good. So why don't you give to that today? We also want you to follow Cedric M. Singleton. All right, blow him up, right? I mean that with everything. Follow him, get his book, all right, hire him, do whatever you do, but support him. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, all right? And then, of course, I'm looking for speakers and vendors for our Prayer Breakfast of Champions coming August the 28th, 29th, and 30th this year. It's that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you want to be on the stage, oh, come on. You need to look us up, prepbreakfastofchampions.com. It was amazing last time. It's going to be even super amazing this time. And I want to see you on the stage. I want to see and hear you tell people in our community your story. All right? Looking forward to it. And as I always say, life without purpose is like living life. Not at all. Find your purpose so you can live your life, and then you can leave a legacy. All right? We'll see you at the top. Continue to pray for us and pray for leading from the future. Never from behind, always from the front. Peace.
Thank you for joining us on another incredible episode of Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. We've had an amazing journey exploring visionary leadership and inspiring insights. If you're passionate about sharing your story and ideas on our show, we'd love to have you as a guest. Simply reach out to us via email at thevictorychurchint@gmail.com. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. You can contribute through 3 convenient ways. The first is Cash App. That's right, $ Anthony D. Shannon, or $ The Victory Church INT. You can also download the V Church app. Search for us on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Follow the prompts and make your contribution. Whether you contribute $1,000 or any amount, every donation makes a difference. Go ahead and support us today. For more information and to stay connected, please visit leaderslivegenerously.com. We appreciate your support in advancing our mission. Well, thank you for being a part of this incredible community. Join us again next time as we lead from the future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon.